What's going on, man? I'm stressed out. I'm sure I'm stressed out. We're spending more money this day than I did during the first season of mining at Big Nugget with my grandfather, which is crazy. This cut could ruin us if we don't finish it. So that's a little frightening. Parker Schnabel has always taken risks. As a teenager on Gold Rush, he extracted 63,000 O of gold worth nearly $100 million. However, his success hasn't been easy lately, as the man behind the mine, Parker Schnabel, is one of reality TV biggest stars, known for his grit and skill on Gold Rush mining. He pushes for an ambitious $25 million haul, but his entire operation is on the line. Unexpected issues, massive debt, and ticking deadlines put him at the brink. Could this season be his last? Let's get started. Born into a family with deep mining roots, Parker carved out his own path to success. What's surprising, Parker? He was born on July 20 in 1994 and is only 29 years old, but he has already established himself in one of the most difficult industries in the world. He began working at his family's large nugget mine in Alaska when he was a teenager. He is a tough, no-nonsense man who is the real deal both on and off screen. Parker's journey took a daring turn early on when he decided to bet all of his money on gold mining rather than using it for school, because he knew that his passion was in the dirt and rocks, not in the classroom. He put all of his money into his own business and jumped right into the Yukon. My mother didn't like that I didn't go to college, but I met Tony Beats and couldn't avoid mining. It was dangerous, but it paid off handsomely. Parker's journey has been amazing. His perseverance and business acumen made him a millionaire in record time, winning him admirers all over the world, even though Gold Rush reveals his mining hardships. Parker keeps his private life low-key, being single, and keeps fans guessing about his dating life. But here's a twist. Despite the show's frequent emphasis on his modest upbringing, Parker is now worth about $10 million for someone who started out young and took big risks. This is quite an accomplishment, as the majority of his wealth comes from mining. By the time he was 24, he had already extracted $15 million worth of gold. His quest for gold has taken him all over the world, from Guyana to the Klondike, and while his precise Gold Rush salary is unknown, it adds another level of wealth, success, legacy gold. The Discovery Channel's popular series Gold Rush delves into the harsh, gritty life of contemporary gold miners as they pursue their fortune. The majority of the action takes place in the freezing Yukon wildness near Dawson City, Canada, where gold fever still thrives. One of the show's biggest stars is Parker Schnabel. Although mining may seem like an outdated profession from the Wild West, it's still very much alive today. Rush was only a teenager when the show debuted in 2010 and only appeared in a few episodes during the first season, but he quickly became a fan favorite. In contrast to most miners, Parker is fierce and intense, known for having a fiery temper and laser-like focus beneath his tough exterior. But there is much more to Parker than meets the eye. Parker Schnabel's ascent in gold mining has been amazing over the years. In an interview with Maxim, Parker joked that his sandbox is his biggest indulgence, constantly upgrading his equipment to improve his yields. For Parker, the thrill of finding gold seems to mean more than the wealth itself. But mining is far from a solo venture. His net worth is estimated to be around $10 million as of 2020, but don't expect him to retire anytime soon. All of his money is invested back into his mining operations rather than being spent on luxury items like yachts or sports cars. Parker is working to maintain a legacy that runs in his family, starting with his grandfather John Schnabel, who was a wise and kind figure on Gold Rush in its early seasons. John operated the Big Nugget mine in Alaska, where he taught Parker valuable lessons about mining and life. Although their earnings aren't public, it's safe to assume they do well during successful seasons. JN passed away peacefully in 2016 at the age of 96, and Parker expressed his sincere gratitude for the support. After John left in season 2, Parker took over the family business himself. It was a big responsibility for someone so young, but Parker was determined to go beyond just keeping the mine running. With modern technology, a knowledgeable staff, and unwavering effort, he turned Big Nugget Mine into a thriving success. Making the big decision isn't easy, especially in a high-stakes industry like gold mining. Parker has faced many frightening situations. If it weren't for his grandfather, John Schnabel, who established a college fund for him when he was born in 1994, Parker's journey might have turned out differently. The risks of this job are far greater than just the pursuit of gold. They include avoiding bullets fired by hostile locals, coming across wild animals in the harsh wilderness, and dealing with unpredictable weather and rough terrain. Despite all of this, Parker shows no signs of stopping. Through mining, he made sure Parker wouldn't have to worry about paying for tuition if he wanted to continue his education. But Parker had other ideas. When John took a step back and gave him the reins, Parker was faced with a crucial decision: invest all of his money in mining and take his chances with gold, or go to college like his friends. True to his ambitious spirit, Parker decided to invest all of his college funds in mining, sinking every dollar into new supplies and equipment ready to dig his future out of the ground. Parker learned it from a textbook. Mining isn't just about striking it rich. It's about creating something meaningful, just like his grandfather did. Early in Season 2 of Gold Rush, Parker and his crew unearthed 34 ounces of gold worth approximately $55,000. While it wasn't a life-changing event for some, it did prove that Parker had made the right decision, and mining became more than just a job. It became his life's calling. When most people think of gold mining, they picture unearthing huge gold nuggets, but for Parker, it's a little different. In a 2017 Facebook Live Q&A, Parker answered fans' questions and revealed a few surprises. When asked about the largest nugget he had ever found, Parker replied that it was only about an ounce, worth about $1,400. Although it may seem like small nuggets of that size are actually uncommon where Parker mines, even though times have changed. 3 or 4 ounce nuggets were more common in the 1980s when his grandfather was working in Hanses, Alaska. Up impressive amounts of gold mining hasn't always been an easy journey for Parker. One of his most difficult experiences occurred during the filming of Gold Rush Parker's Trail, a spin-off that followed him and his team as they retraced the Klondike Trail. While he was joined by familiar faces like Rick Ness and Carla Ann, cameraman James came along as well. Parker and James had collaborated for years, but this trek seriously strained their relationship. In an interview with Inquisitor, Parker acknowledged that he and James had frequent arguments. Parker has stated that some things James did on the trail left him frustrated and disappointed. Drama seems to follow Parker partly because of his intense, quick-tempered nature. He's no stranger to conflicts, especially given the grueling conditions of mining, but Parker accepts these challenges as part of the experience. His personality simply didn't mesh well during the intense trip, and their constant disagreements created lasting tension between them. Even after filming ended, their friendship didn't quite recover. Parker keeps close to the memories that really matter, especially those of his grandfather, John. In that same Facebook Live Q&A, when asked about his favorite memory, Parker didn't hesitate. It was the time he spent learning from John, who taught him not only about mining, but also about life. He knows that not every relationship will last in the high-stakes world of gold mining, but he continues to push forward focused on his goals and the legacy he's building through it all. Those early seasons of Gold Rush captured their special bond. In an interview with Distrassify, Parker acknowledged that many of his old friends had moved away, making it difficult for him to maintain friendships. However, his grandfather's influence is still very much present, and John's guidance continues to shape Parker's path by reminding him of the values he learned from his mentor and closest friend, Parker and Ashley. This makes John's passing in 2016 all the more poignant for both fans and Parker. Parker's life has always revolved around mining, but his romantic life has also garnered a lot of attention. One relationship in particular caught fans' attention: his time with Australian veterinarian Ashley Ewell. They met in 2016 and clicked right away. Soon after Ashley joined Parker in Alaska, they dove headfirst into the harsh life of Gold Rush during Season 8. Ashley wasn't just a spectator. She joined the crew, helping out at camp and working alongside Parker. Her presence showed a more vulnerable side of him that fans found endearing. In a 2018 episode titled "Win Big or Die Trying," Parker reflected on the breakup and acknowledged that he hadn't prioritized their relationship, admitting that mining had always taken center stage, leaving little room for anything else. Ashley deserves a lot better than that, he said in a rare display of vulnerability, adding a light-hearted vibe to the frequently intense gold mining scenes. However, by season 9, Ashley was gone, and it became clear that they had parted ways. Despite his fame, Parker has always kept his private life under wraps, which only stoked fan curiosity. Then came Gold Rush Parker's Trail, a spin-off that followed Parker on mining adventures around the world. In season 4, he traveled to Australia and teamed up with Tyler Mahoney, an experienced Australian gold miner and star of Aussie Gold. Parker's intense focus on mining ultimately came between them, demonstrating just how deeply his work drives him. Because both Parker and Tyler were raised in mining families, they worked well together to overcome the difficulties of gold hunting in the untamed outback, including the intense heat and snake-infested terrain. Their on-screen chemistry immediately sparked fans to speculate that there might be more than just gold mining between them, as viewers hoped Parker had possibly found a new love interest in Tyler. However, as the season progressed, it became evident that their bond with strictly fans are left wondering if Parker will ever settle down. But at 29, he still has time to find the right person. Mining has always been his main focus, and the unpredictable demands of the trade seem to keep romance on the back burner for the time being. Professional Tyler even took to Instagram to clarify that there was no romance, and that they were simply friends and business partners for Parker. This was especially true with the Wolf Cut, a high-risk mining area. The Wolf Cut was more than just another dig. It was a career-defining opportunity, and after 2 months of arduous work to reach the pay layer, everything was riding on it. So Parker invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in this Alaskan claim, hoping it would change his business. He saw encouraging early signs with 1008 ounces of gold recovered from leftover tailings, but the real treasure was buried deep, rumored to hold over 2,000 ounces of gold. Just as they were about to reach the gold, a huge flood struck, turning the cut into a lake and threatening to undo months of hard work for Parker. The sight of the floodwater was heartbreaking, and he knew better than anyone that nature doesn't care about ambition or investment. If she decides to reclaim the ground, she will be desperate to save the operation. Parker and his team fought back tirelessly, and in a battle that lasted around the clock, they managed to keep 3 pumps. It was a make-or-break situation, and without a solution, they would risk losing the entire season. The crew worked tirelessly to combat the flood by clearing out thick, waterlogged muck and frantically erecting barriers. But time was running out, and Parker felt as though his efforts were being drowned. They had been running, removing 10 million gallons in a single day, but water kept pouring in. The culprit was a hidden M shaft they had hit while digging, unleashing a constant flow. The flood wasn't just a setback. It was a stark reminder of how quickly everything could go wrong. When Parker returned to the site after a brief absence, he was met with a muddy, flooded mess instead of the clean pay dirt he'd hoped to see. Parker knew that giving up on the Wolf Cut could spell disaster, because he had invested everything in this one site and walking away wasn't an option. Success here was essential not only for this season's profits but for the future of his entire operation. As the mud dried up and the floodwater subsided, Parker set his sights on what lay ahead. The stakes were even higher for the upcoming season, and the pressure was mounting. Season 15 of Gold Rush promised some of the highest gold prices, but with a staggering $40 million in pay dirt waiting in the Yukon. This season wasn't just about profit for Parker. It was about patience and leadership like never before. Why? The clock was ticking, and Parker had to face the daunting goal of a record-breaking 10,000-ounce season worth an estimated $25 million. However, debt loomed heavily over his operation, leaving almost no margin for error. For someone who has mined over 63,000 ounces of gold valued at nearly $998 million, the idea of losing it all was terrifying. Parker was worried about securing his operation's survival. His Dominion Creek claim held an estimated $200 million in gold, and it had just 6 years left on its license. As Parker's journey progresses, viewers will see him navigating not only the earth beneath him, but also the intense pressure that comes with high-stakes mining. With so much on the line, he will have to make split-second decisions, carefully weigh risks, and rely on both his strategy and a little bit of luck. Hard to swallow season 15 of Gold Rush is looking to be anything but smooth. Early teasers hinted at big trouble for one miner whose struggles could risk everything they've fought for. Fans will be excited to see if Parker can finally reach his most ambitious goals as the latest season unfolds. Oh, Parker's journey is proof that despite the devastating setbacks, his drive remains unbreakable. Mud floods and unpredictable Yukon terrain haven't stopped him yet. For Parker, it's not just about striking gold. It's about the challenge, the thrill, and the satisfaction of turning dirt into treasure mining is in his blood. Therefore, he keeps returning season after season. Goal, or if the harsh terrain of Yukon will triumph with massive investments, unanticipated obstacles, and financial ruin looming, Parker's story is far from over. In the competitive world of Gold Rush, success is never guaranteed for Parker Schnabel. The decision is clear. It's all or nothing, and he's more than willing to risk everything again.